look at another exciting business. To get in on the discussion, call toll-free 888-565-1470. Now, let's talk business. Your business. With today's guest, here's Russell.
Hi, guys. Welcome to New Business on Main Street. My name is Teddy Raphael, and I have your host, Mr. Russell Johnson.
Co-host.
And today, I am so excited. Host. We love the host. But I'm super excited because you're bringing on Dr. Susan Boston, right?
She's good.
Which, whenever she comes on, I am so excited to hear from her because I told you earlier I was trying to look up who she was. And her name, I have to say, is Bostain. Because I looked up Boston like the city, and it's not that.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is. That is the wrong person. And I was very confused because you were like, she does holistic. She does a lot of nutrition. And this person's not that. And I was very confused.
Oh, okay.
So Dr. Susan, Bostain. And you said she's out of Philadelphia.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
She's practice up there. Yeah,
It's the P's. The dyslexia with the P's. I'm like, it's a P place. It's fine.
Yeah.
It starts with
close.
the same thing. Yeah. It's around the same area.
Yeah, not too far apart.
Like New England. I'm from New York, so New England, I'm like, everything's the same. It's just all not what I like.
Okay.
Just anything up there. But, and Freddie, let me know whenever she's on because I'm so excited. And I know there's a new product that I wanted to talk to her about because apparently it's not new. It's been on the market forever.
11 years.
But 11 years, really?
Yeah. It's started 11/11/11. The company.
That's the luckiest number.
Yeah, that's a good number. And they're in 48 countries.
Really?
Yeah, they sell it in 48 countries.
See, that's how new it is to me.
It's awesome. No, it's a networking company, and they have a lot of distributors all across the world.
I am so excited about it because I was reading up. I have like all my notes of questions I want to ask her and you about because I just want to like show the quick list of how many benefits there are on here. And I was like, okay, I like that. And I was like making a little list of checkoffs. I was like, I like that. That sounds good. That sounds like it tastes good.
It really does taste good. And it's very effective with high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritic pain, fibromyalgia, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost like a adoptogen. It's really a new category creation. It's seed nutrition. They take the seeds from black cumin, black raspberry, Chardonnay grape seeds and mix it in and make it a liquid, and you drink it, and boom, gets right into your body. And tremendous. They have about 7 different patents from the FDA on it. It's a great product.
That's amazing.
Really effective. And I think she's going to talk about people who want to order, and that's good. But people who just want to sample the product, she's going to give them information where we'll send them out to them. They can sample, like Costco.
Yeah.
You can sample the product.
Eat all lunch there. You can get your whole medical examination. I love that. And I love that it's not going to taste like that like nasty cough syrup my mom used to give me. And she's like, oh, your nose hurts? Here's this.
I know. Take it.
Because I was looking at this and I was like, ooh, black raspberries, black cumin, like Chardonnay, somewhat D-ribose, which I have no idea what that is. But I was reading up on it and it sounds like it has a lot of huge benefits.
Oh, tremendous benefits. D-ribose is a little sweetener, but it's not cane sugar. It's the sugar the body produces. It's a 5-carbon sugar.
So it's better for like diabetes and anything like that.
Absolutely.
See, I like that. Because I always get nervous whenever you see things that I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah. No,
ingredients. I'm like, what is that? And I read up on it and I was a little nervous and I was like, oh.
There's a lot of science on
good
this.
stuff.
There's a lot of science on this one, yeah.
Which is huge. And you said there's 7 FDA patents, which is for stuff like this, for anything medical. I feel like that's not a medical device. I almost never see that. A superfood.
Yeah.
Anything like that, you never see medical patents. And this coming from someone who juices everything, you never see FDA patents.
Right.
So that's really awesome. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and the University of Maryland created it for a couple of years ago. But Dr. Susan, is she there, Freddie? Yeah. Not yet. Well, where is Susan? Yeah, I talked to her before I came on the air. But anyway, she can tell you about the science of it based on the fact that the University of Maryland, with some research centers, put it together some 10, 15 years ago for children who had cancer. And they were trying to get over radiation and that the chemo, trying to eat better and all that.
Yeah.
And they came up with this formula, and boom, it was a magic for them to get well
that's
again.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a super. People can go to, I have a website. It's soul is S-O-U-L, is soul.
Soul to soul. There you
soul
go.
is soul.com, right? And for the people who want to see more about the manufacturing facility and all that, they can go to that website.
That's right. And there was a PowerPoint that I saw on the website that was all about the science of it. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't understand super much of it because I am not a science person. But when I was reading it, it was telling you about every benefit of every single one of the ingredients. It was telling you how they found it. It was telling you, you know, when you take it. I know it was saying Dr. Susan took it when she had Lyme disease, which is something that I feel like people don't talk about as much. I have sorority sisters who contracted Lyme disease. And I mean, it's, to say the least, it's painful and it's very not fun.
Sure, it is.
And you don't hear a lot of people talking about things that can help relieve any of the symptoms. So for this to be able to, you know, possibly do that for someone is amazing. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it's an exciting product. I've been taking it about 7 years, so it's been very effective for me.
That's
And-
awesome.
Yeah. The company started again 11/11/11, and it opened in the United States 2013, and that's when I joined and started marketing the product from people and started taking the product. Yeah.
You're
So-
like, you never stop since.
So Dr. Susan isn't there yet. Shall I give you the number? Right. All right, let me find it. She can't get through on the number. I wonder why. Yep, she just texted me. It's Freddie. It's 610-417-2448. 610-417-2448. That's our number.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
you can definitely contact her about the free samples that we're going to do
Absolutely.
later.
Yeah, I want people to do that. And then they can always go to their website. Did you get her website?
I did not get hers. I have the general. I have the Soul is Soul. And when she comes on, we're going to grab her website from
Yeah,
her.
it's www.drsusan with S, ph.com. Dr. Susan's ph.
Perfect.
Yeah. So then go to the website. You know, she's been in practice for a lot of years, integrative health practitioner up in Pennsylvania. So, yeah.
And I was reading she does a lot of nutrition. She does amazing holistic work. When I introduced her, I was like, oh, I'm going to read out like some of her degrees. There's a paragraph, there's an essay on her website of her degrees, her certifications, everything that she's experienced in. And that's not even talking about all the talks she's done, everything she's keynote spoken at, all
Yep.
of her other certifications besides just education. She's in the education field, I said, for around 25 years. I mean, it drove me crazy.
But she's there for
reading
you.
that.
She's there. She's waiting.
Beautiful. And
Great,
Dr. Susan,
great.
or
And
can you hear me?
You've done
You
a lot of
crazy?
research on her.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm very
excellent.
excited.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome on, Dr. Susan.
Well, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm so excited to get to talk to you because Russell was telling me about everything you do. I was reading on your website everything you do, the soul supplements, all of that is incredible. And I wanted to ask you about all of this.
Well, any question you have, I will answer. But like I said, I have been a Rain Soul fan since the day they started. Like I said, I am very passionate about the product, and I personally have been on it every day, nonstop, since I started way back in the day. So
That's amazing. To start off, I want everyone to know, what do you do? What do you specialize in your words?
I specialize in anybody who walks in my door, basically taking them from where they don't want to be and getting them to where they want to be, health-wise, whether it's pain management, muscle recovery, stress, anxiety, that's pretty surgery recovery. Literally, the breadth of what I do is very, very diverse, and that's what we do. Like I said, if you check out my website, they're like, what don't you do? And I'm like, clean my own house.
You know what? You're allowed
No,
one vice. It's good. With all of your certifications and degrees, you're allowed that one.
It's you keep learning. And the nice thing about our field that we're in when you're in integrative holistic health is you're allowed to learn anything and everything to help people. And that's what makes this so rewarding, is because if someone comes in, who wants to get their stitches out in 7 days instead of 14 days, well, we can do that. Or if somebody is, suffering from, pain from falling in a race that they were running, well, we can help them get better. Or if someone's just having a tough time dealing with the stress and anxiety of the current world situation, well, there were things that we can do to help them. So,
That's
and that's,
amazing.
it doesn't box you into one different, only one thing. So we treat anybody and everybody, and I'm also trained in animals too. So that works. I have a horse as a patient, a dog as a patient. I have 2 more horses coming on this week, but I had the opportunity to learn and get trained, so I did it.
That's amazing. And can you tell me more about how do you use the Soul products in your practice? How do you use that in your office?
Multiple ways. The first of which is everybody in Rain knows my story. I was initially given the product by a friend of mine, Nick, who I was diagnosed with Lyme disease and was pretty bad with the rash and the fatigue, and I'm a runner, so that didn't fit well for me. And I use Soul as a large part of my recovery protocol, and I take it every single day without fail. I take it now and in my practice, I have everybody on it from, 2-year-olds who don't want to eat right and they need, some decent nutrition, to teenagers who are just tired and stressed and need something to help, get their hormone system in track. And I have some people using it topically right now for some severe acne issues that they're having. It's messy and crazy, but the cystic acne, and like I said, I have to be careful how I word this. A lot of patients of mine right now have severe blotchy acne on their face, but only in a very specific area that they never had before March. And we have been using Soul topically at night to help them get rid of some of that inflammation and bacteria buildup that happens on their face. And I warn them, look, it's messy. You're going to have to change your pillowcases. But a lot of my patients report that overnight their skin looks amazing when you use it topically. So in addition to take it internally, you can use it topically as well. And it works.
That's amazing, because I know a lot of people who have the same issue. They have the blotchy acne that they didn't have before March, and it's always in that same place. And, usually kind of know what it is. And
yes, but we're not allowed to say it in the United States.
Of course not.
So we have to be very, very cognizant of that. So,
but
yeah,
when
so
you do get it, or I'm sure
situational acne.
Yeah, I'm sure any part of your face. I mean, I'm sure all over your body. It's still cystic acne, right?
Yeah, it's bacterial driven. So, but it is, like I said, and I have the number of patients. It is my number one selling supplement. It has been my number one selling supplement in my office for 8 years. I get, anywhere from 4 to 10 cases in on a Monday, and this week they were all gone by Monday afternoon. So they're
That's
gone.
amazing.
I think I keep ordering and ordering, but my patients love it, and they keep coming back for more, which tells me it works when they keep coming back for it. And some people, they're not a big fan of. I have patients who don't like to order anything on the computer. It's just not their thing. I have a certain age group that just is not computer literate. I'm like, look, you call me, I will order it for you. You give me your credit card, I'll order it for you. They'll ship it to you. It's charged on your credit card. And so but the product itself is phenomenal. If people looked at the ingredients and what it does for the human body and what it can do and its potential, there's no reason why everybody on the planet should not be on this product. I'm convinced.
Absolutely.
I think everybody should be on Soul. Everybody.
Dr. Susan, you may want to talk about people getting samples of the product, because when people get samples, like Costco.
Exactly. That's my favorite place to go.
When people get samples.
The company Rain they have this phenomenal promotion going on right now, and it's called Try Soul. And all you have to do is go to the website, and every rep has the opportunity to do this. Russ wanted me to give my website out for only $22. That's $22, which is what the cost of 3 or 4 coffees from somewhere. You can go online. The site they have given me is Dr. Susan. I just lost it, Russ.
It's always the second you need it.
drsusan.trysoul.com. So drsusan.trysoul.com. And you can order a 6-pack of Soul Red for only $22. That's it, and the company will ship it to you. That's amazing. A great way for you to get a week's worth. You can try it. You can give it to your husband. You can give it to your children. You can give it to, Great Aunt Lucy and everyone else in your, frankly, I think you should order one for everybody in your family and give it to everybody for Christmas. It's the perfect way to give a healthy, nutritious gift to someone this holiday season.
Like a
It's
cute little
perfect.
stocking stuffer. I love that.
That's
Just a little
Absolutely.
self-care stocking
It's-
stuffer.
I mean, and all the random gift exchanges. I mean, oh, it's $25. Here you go,
yeah.
$22. You're giving someone 6 days worth of pure health in a sample packet. So it is worth every penny. And I have people who take it, they have increased energy. They have less muscle fatigue. They have more stamina. They are able to think clearly. I have one woman who actually her husband called me and he thanked me because he was taking it and he goes, hey, I just want to let you, I can really deal with my wife but nap more. I'm like, oh, you guys have been locked up in the same home way too long. But but it does, because it does. If you understand why Soul does what it does and the science behind things, those type of comments make perfect sense when they because they help that brain neurotransmitter piece too. And like I said, all of my children have jobs and they are all working. And in order for them to leave the house, they have to take a packet of Soul. They don't have a choice, so they're not allowed to go to work.
Dr. Susan, why don't you
So,
talk about how this came about in terms of the science behind it, University of Maryland, et cetera?
Oh, yeah.
Could you talk about that
Well,
for a minute?
This product was developed years ago, and like I said, initially there were studies done on how it was stronger than 281 times stronger than Motrin as an anti-inflammatory. I think that was the University of Jefferson.
Wow.
It was initially in the Indiana University Hospital, I do believe. They initially developed. They were looking for a product to develop for pediatric cancer patients, and they were looking for something. And initially, that's where a lot of this initial research came about. But since that time, the science behind the product, there have been so many independent studies done. The most prominent one that we look at is it reduces your NF-kappa B, which is an inflammatory marker in the body. We know that taking this product reduces your inflammatory markers, period. We know that it's been proved. It's been independent studied on human assay sample cells with Brunswick's labs. And it also, that's just one study. But one of the things that I look at is I'm a real big science geek, and I love reading about proteins and biology and how your body reacts to different things. There's a protein in your body called sirtuin-1. We know that taking Soul increases your sirtuin-1 protein. What does that mean to you? Well, it means a lot of things, because if your levels of sirtuin-1 protein increase, you are less likely to suffer from a metabolic disorder. Now, there's a lot of metabolic disorder and autoimmune issues out there, like type 2 diabetes and some of the other things that are going on. So if you can have more sirtuin-1 in your system, the healthier you are. Dr. Johnson calls this, the other Dr. Johnson calls this the skinny gene. So if you have a lot of sirtuin-1, you are less likely to be obese and have that morbidity concern. So we know that through the independent studies and the human sample assays that they've done on Soul, that this product does this over time. So why would you not want this in your system when we know that the independent studies have shown that, yes, anti-inflammatory, yes, increases your sirtuin-1 production. Yes, it also has a very high auric value, which means it is getting rid of free radicals in your body that cause cell damage and cell death and cell toxicity and cell malfunction. So why would you not want something like that in your system fighting for you every single day? I do. I mean, I want something in my back corner.
Hey, Dr. Susan, you did use it. You came on the product when you were introduced by a friend of yours. And let's talk about your testimony, because that's a fantastic testimony. And then I would want you to address the issue of Brunswick Labs, and also the Banned Substance Control Group, et cetera.
Yep. Yeah. Initially, I was a chronic runner. I've run over 100 half marathons, and in January of all months, I couldn't get out of bed one Sunday. I'm like, what is going on with me? I wasn't hurt, and then I noticed the rash. And after, 5 doctors and everybody telling me, I had crazy things, my Lyme test came back positive. I'm like, great. But I refused. I was not going on the standard pharmaceutical cocktail. because the side effects of that pharmaceutical cocktail as a runner were just not something I even wanted to play with. Not at all. The doxycycline that they give you is nice and fun, but at that point I wasn't at risk of having malaria, so I really didn't want to take that antibiotic. So a friend of mine introduced me to Soul, and I'm like, let me check what's in it first. And I did all of my research, and I mean due diligent research. Ended up meeting, the owners of the company and said, I'm game, like I'm in. I started taking the product, I think on a Friday. By Sunday, Monday, my rash was gone, and I was like taking 2 a day. And then about 2 weeks later, I was back running again. And I have been fine ever since. Byron Belka, who runs the company, and Russ, I've worked with them. I've done a lot of Zoom calls for training during quarantine on the Facebook page. I had 1 week where I ran out, which my kids know if they ever take the last of my Soul, they're in deep trouble. They lose their car keys. My rash started to come back like day 3, and I was like calling everybody. I need a couple packets of Soul. So Rain has shipped mine, but it's not going to be here. So now I always make sure I have 3 or 4 cases, hidden in my bedroom somewhere. So
just your emergency stash of it, just in case. It's a smart idea.
Stash. But it's that's my and it works. I know the ingredients. I know what black cumin seed oil does. I know what grape Chardonnay seed does. I know the research behind every single ingredient in the product, and they work synergistically together. We call it an adaptogen, which is why Mary can take it and her hot flashes dissipate, and which is why I can take it and I get my symptoms to dissipate from Lyme and keep my little bacteria levels way down below where they ever needed to be, and which is why when my daughter had hand, foot, and mouth disease and had that horrible, horrific rash all over her face and was out of school for 9 days, we were putting this on her topically. And within 2 days, her rash went from disgusting, and no offense, I didn't say that on the air, went from really bad to she could wake up in the morning and look at herself in the mirror overnight. I mean, yeah, we threw out her pillowcases, big deal, but it works, and there's so many applications. I have a patient right now it's not prescribed for this, it's not made for this, but I have a patient right now who is actually giving it to her 11-year-old dog who has severe arthritis.
I was going to ask you, because I know you work with animals, it's safe
Absolutely.
to give
and
to all animals?
I have a client who's also giving it to her horse.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, and if you look, when you have plant-based, non-GMO ingredients with no chemicals in them, well, they, pending no other crazy things that might be going on with the animal that you really have to know, but I scan animals, so I understand that genetic piece. The horse is doing fine, the dog is doing fine, so you just have to understand body size and, how much to give them. But the science behind it is phenomenal. And when you understand how far back our research goes on black cumin seed oil and grape seed and black raspberry, and even in the Soul Red, the red raspberry, and what that can do even for helping support healthy weight loss. When you understand that for the Soul Red version, that's the one that you can get for the Try Soul package for only $22. And why would you not want to give it a gift of health to someone or a friend?
That sounds amazing.
It's and that's the thing. It's like health is out there. So I keep telling people, health is out there. You can work to strengthen the integrity of every cell in your body. Yes, you have to work at it, but it is doable. And the question is, do you want to do that or not?
That's awesome. I love that. And I did want to bring up one more time before we ask you for your information of how people can contact you and how to order, that it's still, because I know we were talking about how it tastes good. I want to bring it again. It's good for diabetics, right? It's good.
Everything.
Perfect.
I get asked all the time, and I have a pharmacist who works with me here in my office. And the nice thing about Soul is we have not found any contraindications with anything that anybody else is on.
That is amazing, because Russell and I were talking about it, and Russell was telling me how the sweetener in it is naturally made in your body. It's good for diabetics. I just want to reiterate that so much, because for some
cane sugar. It's 5 grams of cane sugar. That's it. That's it. And you have to understand, you need that natural glucose. Mm-hmm. And this is what I tell people: the human brain, you only have one of them. The brain gets its energy from only one sugar. It's called a monosaccharide. One sugar, monosaccharide. The only monosaccharides naturally available in the entire universe are from plants. So if you're eating fruit, you're feeding your brain. If you are not eating any fruit or any plant-based sugar, you're not feeding your brain at all, which means your brain, in order to get energy, has to make it from whatever else, or like with some of my patients, I see whatever junk you've chosen to eat today.
Hey, doctor,
so you need that monosaccharide.
We're coming to a close.
Can help with that.
Dr. Susan, we are coming to close. How can people get in touch with you? That's the website, telephone number. Let's do that.
My number is 610-417-2448. I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. They can go to Dr. Susan's PH Integrative Health page on Facebook. I am on Instagram at Dr. Susan's PH, like P is in potential, H is in hydrogen. If you want to have fun and do nothing but laugh, I also am on TikTok at Dr. Susan B for Boston. But yeah, those are the big ones. But yeah, I am out there. My website is drsusansph.com for potential hydrogen. But yeah, soul is worth every penny.
That is the most doctor explanation of spelling. Most people are like Patricia Henry, potential hydrogen. I love that. That is amazing.
Balancing your body chemistry. And if you know soul will do that for you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Susan, for being on. And thank you, Russell,
for
letting me on.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Of course. And be sure to catch us next.
Great. Excellent job.
Thank you. And be sure to catch us not next week, the week after. We'll be on at 7:30. And I'm super excited to see who we have on. So I hope you guys have a great night.
You have been listening to New Business on Main Street with your host, Russell. If you have a business idea and want to share it on the air, call Russell directly at 561-302-2588. That's 561-302-2588.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily